Jam-packed show this morning. Great to see you guys. Let's get into it. Best position groups and battles to keep an eye on week 2 of Alabama spring practice. Yep, we'll get into that. Coach Prime and Colorado want to play a real spring game. Yeah, unlike these practices and teams running from competition, they want to play another opponent. How about Alabama? Send the Tide out there in that April matchup on ESPN2. Update on Grant Nelson, Alabama men's and women's basketball in the NCAA tournament. And I take my hat off to baseball again. 20-1 record and a sweep over Texas A&M. So we'll talk about all that right here on the Bama Tailgate Show. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. I ask you guys to do that on a daily basis. I know that's a lot to ask an Auburn fan, but you Alabama people got us covered. Let's get this party started. Roll Tide, everybody. Mick Gillespie. Great to see you guys here on the show today. As always, appreciate you guys being here, and we're here to talk Alabama football. We got a lot of sports to talk about. They've earned the right to be talked about on the show. You guys need to support them, including baseball. I'm with you. Us guys need to support them, and gals. All right, everybody, Roll Tide. Let's get into this thing, and we'll start with football. Best position group battles, week 2. Finally, week 2 of practice, right? Practice. Yeah, I'm talking about practice, but practice matters. And there's a lot going on right now. Alabama kind of cranking up recruiting, visits and all that stuff. But the most important thing is what Alabama looks like when they hit practice today. Yep. First off, quarterbacks. You know that the world revolves around the Alabama quarterback position. And this year, is maybe it shouldn't be that intriguing of a battle, but it is an intriguing battle because you got Ty Simpson and you got Austin Mack. I don't even put Keelon Russell in this conversation right now, but you know what? Maybe he should be. I don't know. If everything goes the way that it's supposed to go, we shouldn't really have much of a position battle. This should be an easy dub for the one and the only guy that should have all of this covered. And of course, I'm talking about Ty. You feel like Ty Simpson is definitely the guy to lead this group. And there's Ty throwing a football right there, courtesy of Alabama. But there's Austin Mack, number 12, Keelon Russell. I love Keelon Russell. Anyway, but the bottom line is that you got these guys. Keep an eye on it. This should be the week that Ty Simpson really just kind of pulls away from the rest of the pack, that he starts to take center stage, and that he leads the team. And then the leadership's part of it. Obviously, knowing the playbook, making the plays is part of it. And it's one of the most interesting parts of this, so far this camp. And then you see, guys catching the ball. Now let's talk offensive line. You're looking at them right there. And this is another area where Alabama obviously has some spots that are not taken right now. Right tackle with, Wilkin Formby should be back. He's been gone. How about Jackson Lloyd, the 5-star? Is he going to go in there and steal this job from Formby? We've seen good Formby, we've seen bad Formby, in Alabama football games, and that's kind of where that is. You got the transfer from Texas A&M, Cam Dewberry, who could be the next left guard Alabama has. Is he going to be the guy there? I kind of feel like he is. I don't think he transferred in not to. Gino Vandermark, who transferred in last year, kind of getting some work in that same spot. And then the guy I'm interested in is Michael Carroll, the 5-star out of Pennsylvania. His dad went to Penn State, comes to Alabama. That's another one. Now looking at DBs, but let's talk wide receivers. And that's to me, probably the toughest position to get on the field right now at Alabama. I mean, you got Ryan Williams, Hollywood. You got Germie Bernard. I mean, they're your two bell cows from last year. They got the transfer from Miami, Isaiah Horton, who everyone's just kind of penciling in that 3 spot. You got Cole Adams, who was injured last year. Jalen Hale, who was injured last year. Or, were they going to be the 4 guy? Jalen Mbakwe came over from the defense to play wide receiver. The 2 freshmen, Latsier Brooks, who's made all the plays and has had all this buzz, and Derek Meadows, who Alabama got and absolutely loves being in Alabama. Another guy to keep an eye on. But that's another group, and it's a position of strength now, wide receiver for Alabama. And, it kind of goes back to Kendrick Law doing a video for Kentucky, where he's talking about Alabama's training routine not being something that helped them stay healthy. Could it be that you didn't get on the field? I don't know. Or is he right? I don't know. I mean, he could be exactly right, and we just don't, I'm not in there practicing every day. But interesting group with 6 transfers out, and then, obviously all those guys in. And then the other one that's really interesting to me is obviously special teams, right? Connor Talty is, the guy that Alabama has.
Emu can't help people customize and save with Liberty Music.
But, I mean, Bama's special teams gutted last year with, basically needing a new kicker, punter, and long snapper. And Talty was kickoffs last year. He's back. You got Cal transfer David Byrd at snapper. Of course, he's in that pile of players that are injured. Transfer Blake Dowd is another guy that gives Alabama some experience to replace James Burnap. Alex Asparoff, I think is how he says his name. Maybe I'm wrong. But anyway, you got some guys, but it's a position that you really worry about for Alabama, and it's one to keep an eye on. So those are 3 areas just kind of today looking at going, okay, you got quarterback where you think that Ty Simpson needs to be the guy. He needs to step up and win the job this week. You got wide receiver where you lost 6 guys and you got better. At least we feel like that because of guys getting healthy and, and all that. And then, and you got, special teams, which, first off, you don't have like anybody really returning, and then guys are hurt, so people need to be out on that field practicing. As we hang out, I want to tell you that we had a great time yesterday at Pearl River Resort at the Timeout Sports Lounge. Thanks to Bo Bounds for jumping on with us. What a fun show, man. Bama, number 2 seed. The women's team made the tournament. We'll even look at them on the show today. I don't talk a lot of women's basketball here, but you know what? Hey, congratulations. Both teams in the tournament, and then baseball's rolling. So I'm going to get into that coming up. But I want to talk about Coach Prime, and you guys know I like Coach Prime. I like what he brings to the table. Deion Sanders, he wants to play a real game for spring. Wants to get out there, wants the speed of the game. How cool would that be? Instead of these programs that are running from playing football during spring and they don't want to have the 8A game, somebody might come and swoop up your best players. Colorado wants to play a spring game against another team. So I think this would really bring interest in spring football way up. It would be a lot of fun. And I hope they do it. They do it in basketball. They do it in high school. They have like the spring jamborees and stuff like that. And what if you did like a half? You could have 4 teams and they could play a half against a switch, where you don't even, it's not even about the results on the field. As far as the scoreboard, it's just about the results of them playing football, and we get to watch players and against other players. So anyway, I hope that that's something that takes off, and tip of the cap to Coach Prime in Colorado for calling that. And he had a great year, by the way. He took over a program that won a game, then they won 4, and then they had 9 this year. So good for him, man. And both of his kids are going to be NFL draft picks. So that's pretty cool. All right. Update on Grant Nelson. The update is that he is questionable, but that Alabama thinks there is a chance that he's going to be able to play in the game. You know, he had an injury. They looked at it. There was some swelling. He's walking around. He's not in a boot. You're playing Robert Morris, which is it's a 2 versus 15. They're tough games. They always are. But you got to go out there and have all your guys ready. You can't assume you're going to win. 2s lose to 15s once in a while. I hope that doesn't happen. But the Tide could certainly use Nelson back as they try to go through the East. We'll see what kind of intensity. You know, Alabama played so good against Kentucky. They had to win against Auburn. Grant Nelson went out. Second half against Florida was a disaster. They didn't look like they even wanted to be there. A lot of people questioning Nate Oates for not calling a timeout when Florida went on a run. All in all, it was a bad performance. Now it's time to get things ready. This first round should be the easiest basketball games that Alabama's played in like a month. I mean, you talk about the SEC schedule and then the tournament that they had to play. I mean, these ought to be teams that they're like, okay, you go out there and you bring that same intensity that you brought in some of these other games, and you should just rip them right through. And the bracket lines up so beautifully for Alabama. So, you know, I'm excited about it. Friday, going to be out in Vegas. Don't think I'm going to forget about you guys out there. I'm going to do shows out in Vegas. But what's great for me, I mean, selfishly, is I'm going to just get up, and when I walk downstairs, it's basketball time. I mean, that's the best. I mean, that is the best part of, you know, of being out in that, you know, what is it, Pacific Coast time. You just get up and boom, there you are. So yeah, it's going to be, it's tournament time. It's fun to have Alabama out there. Let me drop the bracket for you guys so we can look at it together here. But you've already seen it a million times, but there it is again. You got a playing game, Xavier in Texas. That's Wednesday. And then they play Illinois. Bama beat them already this year. Bama's got Robert Morris. They play the winner of St. Mary's and Vanderbilt. St. Mary's is always tough. Going to be a tough game. Vanderbilt, part of the SEC. We're going to find out with 14 teams in. Is the SEC deserving of 14 teams? How that's going to look, and you know, and hopefully they get through with Grant Nelson, and you know, and if they don't, then he gets healthy for the time that you know that they would play in the second, you know, the second Sweet 16, that second round of games. So that's what you hope anyway. All right. Congratulations to the women's team. Mentioned them before. Bama is a 5 seed. They win. They play Green Bay. They've got Maryland, a 4 seed. That's going to be a tough matchup. They're in the same bracket as South Carolina, who's probably the favorite to win this national championship, or at least get to the Final Four. So a tough road for Alabama. But, you know, a 5 seed, we'll see if they can do better than they did in the SEC tournament when they were 1 and done. But the players played a good season, fought hard, and they get rewarded to be in the tournament. And then, you know, finally, baseball, 20-1. And I mean, I'm just absolutely floored by the start that this team's had. And it's like, well, you talk about that, you know, they haven't played the toughest schedule. But you know what? It doesn't matter. I mean, you win 20 games against any team. That is, I mean, super impressive. And, you know, they started out by beating Texas A&M 3 straight, great pitching, defense, timely hitting. They lost 1 game, 11-8 on March 19th to Presbyterian, and that's it. So, but just an absolutely great start for Alabama baseball. And, you know, they're up as one of the best teams in baseball from 16 to 12 in the national polls. Still a long way to go, but everybody chasing Tennessee, the only undefeated team right now, and LSU and Arkansas, you know, Georgia. But pretty cool. Rob Vaughn trying to make an impression on recruits and show that this Bama program, still has some juice left, and that's how you do it. Go out there and win some games and turn some heads, and they've done that. So congratulations to them. All right, guys, a couple of things I want to talk about before we get out of here. First one is New Life Art. Use our promo code, and that is Bama Tailgate. Gonna do another couple days of our Super Bowl Eagle Bama players prints, and one of those would be that awesome print of Jalen Hurts, Crimson Redemption, 25% off. Bama Tailgate at checkout, and then Heisman Heights with Devontae Smith. That would look so good in your office. All your LSU friends are like, oh yeah, it's the time that Bama won the championship, came back after we won one. Y'all had to win another one and another Heisman. And there he is jumping up, making that catch. So take advantage of it, 25% off Bama Tailgate. Now, the final thing I want to tell you is this. We're brought to you by Pearl River Resort. Had a great time over at Pearl River Resort. Last night, came back from Pearl River a couple nights ago. Bo and I, we did the Mom and Them's restaurant, Elijah Craig bourbon, and I did some old fashions. Had a couple Coldies, couple Yinglings in there, and ate and enjoyed it. Had a great time, man. Cool bar, great bartender, but it's a fun place. It's got everything you need. Some of the best slot machines that are out there. I mean, a big investment. If you like slots, some of the best slots in the state of Mississippi. Hour and a half from Tuscaloosa, 2 hours and change from Birmingham. But they got it all, man. They got the golf course. I stayed over at Dancing Rabbit Golf Course in the clubhouse in one of those suites. So nice, man. And I'm like, I wake up and I open my window, and there's the course. It's like having a room at Augusta or something. I mean, it's really that good. And they call it the Augusta you can play. You don't have to have a membership. So, but anyway, it's that time of year, man. It's that time of year. Get over there, table game slots at Pearl River, at Silver Star and Gold Moon Casino. You got Blue Oyster Cult that is coming this month. And then coming this summer, and some of you guys are going to go crazy, it's 90s rap. And it's some of our favorites, Vanilla Ice, Young MC, and what's the other one? C&C Music Factory. Yeah. So I you guys remember them. They're all going to be there for the 90s concert. So find that out. It'll be this summer. But anyway, big poster of Vanilla Ice when you get to town. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. Thank you guys for being here. I'm Mick Gillespie, and appreciate you. Roll Tide. And we will talk to you again tomorrow.
To Pearl River Resort.